What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Well, your boy is back home, and I wanted to kick this week off with just an overview of the crypto market itself. You know, what's happening in the market, some recent news over the last couple of days, and also, as you can see from the title, why I did just start buying into the crypto dip that we're seeing right now. And so, look, we have a good bit to get into today to kick off this week. So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get the ball rolling, baby. So what we can see here is that the crypto market's in a bit of an okay place, right? General fear and greed index is right around neutral. Most cryptos aren't up super big or down super big over the last 24 hours. Matter of fact, if we look at crypto bubbles, not a lot is really going on. Sure, there is obviously White Rock doing decently, and FLR, Pyth doing okay, ZEC doing okay, but for the most part, the crypto market is just having a chill, neutral, casual weekend. And honestly, after the market we've had for the last couple months, I'm not mad about a chill weekend, right? I'm not mad about a chill weekend. Now, from more of a news perspective, though, things actually have been a bit more active. Although the market's not doing a ton, the news has been pretty dang on busy. Of course, as many of you know, I was out in Bitcoin Vegas last week. I did meet a few of you there, so of course, happy to meet you. But there was actually quite a bit of good news, especially from more of a political perspective. As many of you know, JD Vance did deliver a very, very strong keynote speech to all of the Bitcoin investors there, really talking about some of the different, recent moves by the White House to create pro-crypto policies. Now, Vance also emphasized that Bitcoin is a long-term strategic asset for the government, as well as a potential source of competitive advantage, right? And so they just kind of doubled down and said, listen, we are here, we are doing this, we are pro-crypto. And I guess just further showing that the commitments that they made to the crypto community are still being upheld from their campaign, which I think is a good thing. We also did see Eric Trump and Don Trump Jr. give a really good panel, I will say, talking about the potential of crypto from more of a corporate perspective and more of a competitive perspective. So these things were really strong, and I honestly did enjoy them. I'm not going to lie. Now, in addition to that, kind of just showing some of these pro-crypto policies going into place, we did also get that the U.S. regulator, or SEC, has now dismissed the suit against Binance and latest crypto-friendly move by President Trump. Now, this happened on Thursday, in which it was a voluntary dismissal in the civil lawsuit against Binance, which is a good thing. It just goes to show that they're walking it and they're talking it, and talking it and walking it. Now, another cool piece of Bitcoin news, just speaking of the convention, Ross Ulbricht did speak at the convention, talking about freedom, talking about getting his freedom back, thanking the community. But what I thought was really fun, and if he had anything to thank people for, the dude just got a 300 Bitcoin donation. If you don't know how much money that is about $30 million if I'm not doing the math wrong there, which is absolutely nuts. So just obviously cool to see from that perspective. And then lastly, one of the other pieces of news that I thought were interesting were that Pakistan has now announced a Bitcoin strategic reserve, following in the footsteps of the United States. And like we have talked about here on the channel before, I do think more and more countries are going to follow suit with this. I think they're going to look at the U.S. as a leader in this. They're going to start to see some of the competitive advantages generated by the U.S. as a result of this and follow through. And Pakistan's kind of taken those steps as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. So overall, there has been a lot of good stuff happening here in the crypto market, especially from more of a, again, political, legislational perspective, which is very good, obviously, because that's the main catalyst for the market right now. The majority of what's happening in crypto is as a result of what's happening politically. And so a good political landscape looks good. Now, there was a pretty surprising piece of news that did come out on May 30th, so just 2 days ago, in which the Chinese government has not only banned trading or mining of cryptocurrencies, but even individual ownership of digital assets like Bitcoin. I think the Chinese government just likes to do anything the opposite of what the U.S. does. So when the U.S. was against crypto, China was all for it. Now that U.S. is all for it, China's all against it. But for the most part, if you were here in 2021, you remember how volatile and fickle the Chinese government is when it comes to crypto. One day they're with it, one day they're against it. They just do this all the time. There was like 30 announcements of China banning crypto in 2021, and I just don't think people care, especially whales. And so that's why I honestly don't think this news is that big a deal, and that's why I don't think that it really impacted the market that much, right? So all in all, it has been pretty good news. This was a bit of a standout, but again, I just don't think people care, to be honest. Now, moving a little bit along on how this has impacted the market, as I mentioned before, although there has been some good news, it's not new news, it's not surprising news, and what we saw from China wasn't particularly surprising news. And so because of that, the market is rather neutral. And I think that's a good thing. We saw the market getting too hot, and I had been talking about that here on the channel for a while. Like, listen, the market's too high, it's too hot. People are going too damn crazy right now. We need to cool down, pull back a little bit. Crypto fear and greed index was topping near extreme greed at one point, and I made made those videos over and over and over again saying, listen, hey, we need to be extremely careful. I think the crypto market might pull back. And now we're kind of seeing that happen. The market is moving back to a point of neutrality with something like the Fear and Greed Index at 56. You see the RSI heat map back around that average RSI in the neutral territory on the 24-hour, actually in the neutral territory, on the weekly as well, and getting a little bit more overextended to the downside here on the 12-hour and the 4-hour. And if you don't know what this means, all it means is that the crypto market's cooling down, which is exactly what you want to see in a situation like this. Although there has been good news and stuff like that, that just keeps the bullish, long-term sentiment going. What we're seeing right now is more of a micro correction, which is extremely important for long-term conviction, in my opinion. Okay, so moving a little bit along now into the good old technicals and getting into the point of today's video, I actually have started to go in and do some dollar cost averaging into this crypto market. So I want to talk about why that is and what I'm seeing from the charts now. So over the last couple of videos, and look, let me try to get this pulled up for you really quickly. Give me like 5 seconds. Let's get the YouTube channel pulled up here. So over the last couple of videos, I had told you all pretty consistently, right? Like, look, crypto might dump really soon. Here's my plan. Quick crypto update, important move happening now. Brace for impact. Here it comes. The breakout is officially here, and now an update on that breakout or that dump, right? Now, you can call the breakout a breakdown. It is the same thing. It is a breaking of a traditional structure, which is a breakout. But we can call it a breakdown if that makes you sleep better at night, okay? But we had been talking about the fact that I was under the belief that the crypto market was going to break down, right? Or break out. And that we laid out actually these 3 bounce zones, listen, in this video. You can go check it out. I said, here's my plan. I told you there are bounce zones that I am going to be setting my dollar cost averages at. And if this market and when this market does start to pull back towards the downside, guys, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to start accumulating a bit. And what do you know? A couple of days later, the market starts breaking down towards the downside, going straight into our bounce zones. I mean, listen, I'm not saying I knew this was going to happen, but the realm of probabilities and possibilities said that there was over 90% chance that we broke out of this ascending structure towards the bounce zones, and that's why we took profits off the table up here and prepared to purchase down here. Guys, we played this almost as perfectly as you can. We took profits at the top side, prepared for the pullback, and now within the pullback, we have cash from those profits to be able to reinvest here. And as you can see here from our Bitcoin buy-sell bubble sheet, look, consistently taking big profits all along the top, because the red is when I sold, the green is when I've done buying. And look, what you can see is I've now started to accumulate on the dip. Take profits here, accumulate on the dip. And if we actually look at how this plays out, you can see that, yes, we are in now bounce zone 1. Now, I've told you all, I am going to be doing some dollar cost averaging in bounce zone 1, which ranges between $105 and $102,000. But the truth is I'm not doing a lot. Like if you look at that buy that I did right here from a macro perspective, you can see it was not very big. You see this? So yes, I did buy a little bit here, but I didn't buy a lot, not nearly as much as I was buying down here because the size of the bubble represents the size of the purchase. And what you can see here is, yeah, I didn't really do a big purchase. And the reason being is what I told you all before in this, I believe it was this video right here. I said, I'm not going to be doing a lot of buying in bounce zone number 1, quite simply just because I believe we're in a spot to where I'm not sure it's going to hold, right? You have a big move like this, guys. You come back down. Is this going to be a pullback enough to support Bitcoin's price to really rally? I'm not quite sure about that. There might be a rally in the short term. And look at the 4-hour RSI. I mean, we've seen this thing really break down. So yeah, it definitely could be enough. I'm just not sure about that, right? You look at the weekly. Like RSI is like not even barely moved at all. You look at the daily, your RSI is just now getting to the 50% threshold. And so, yeah, the 50% threshold right here could hold. I'm just not quite sure it's going to. And so I am going to go in, do some tiny little purchases in here while we're in this bounce zone right now, but I'm not going to be doing any big ones because I think the lower we get, the much more likely it becomes, right? If we see Bitcoin go to bounce zone number 2, now we're in a spot where we're getting extremely oversold here on the 4-hour RSI. We're seeing that daily RSI probably getting really close to the 30 threshold down here. The weekly one probably getting really close towards this, 38, 40 threshold down here. And now we're in a spot where, yeah, we really might see this chart hold and we really might see Bitcoin try to rally upwards. I'm just, again, not quite sure we're going to be able to do that off this first bounce zone. So I am going to do some small purchasing here, but I'm not going to be doing any gigantic purchasing here. Now, I know many of you have been leverage trading this, and obviously really big congratulations to you all. And I will actually let you guys know that if you do want to start leverage trading now, I think it's not a terrible time, and you can use the link down to BTCC below if that does interest you. Guys, if you know trading, you know how good of a deal this is. Currently, you can get up to $10,000 yourself in free money to trade with right now if you do sign up with the link down below, and that comes with 40% lower trading fees. There are not many deals on the market better than this, and if you know trading, you know that's true. And so check out the link below. That is available for you. You can do all forms of trading, any type of trading, margin trading. You can do cross isolated, whatever you need. It's all available here. This is where I do the majority of mine. So I figured that I would want to show you that there. And I personally am not leverage trading right now in the market that we're in while we're in this bounce zone. But if I was going to do anything, I would personally just do little micro swing trades. So whenever we lose one bounce zone, I would do a little micro short trade down to the next one. Whenever we hit the next one, I would do micro long trades with stop losses set below that bounce zone in anticipation of some sort of micro bounce. What that could look like, for example, is we broke down here. This is when I would open up a short trade, right? I would take that short trade and profit once we hit this bounce zone. Once we hit the bounce zone, I would set a stop loss below the bounce zone and open up a micro long trade, tiny, with stop losses set or take profits set, very gradually, like not very much at all. Once we start pulling back, or if we start pulling back and lose that bounce zone, I would then open up another short trade with the take profit level set at bounce zone number 2, take profit down here, dollar cost average in, or open up a long trade with a stop loss at here. I would just kind of swing trade this if I wanted to. I'm personally not going to because I don't think that the gains are big enough for the taxable events and also just the risk of leverage trading. I personally would rather just dollar cost average into my long-term bag in each one of these bounce zones and, getting bigger and bigger fashion. So like I'll do small DCAs in bounce zone number 1, bigger DCAs in bounce zone number 2, and really big DCAs in bounce zone number 3, and just take profits off the table if/when we do get some sort of bounce towards the upside off the bounce zone, right? So that's the way that I'm going to play this. I'm not really going to be taking any huge moves here. Not while we're in bounce zone number 1. No big longs, no big shorts, no big dollar cost averages. Just starting to get the ball rolling. As you can see here, I am actually going to go in and be doing another purchase today. So it probably will be the same exact size as this one back here. So I didn't mean to do that. There we go. So it'll probably look something like this by the time you see my next video. But if you do want to know exactly when I do my next purchase, that is available for you over in the school. In the school, we have a bunch of information for you guys, but this is where you can go to see exactly what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, what I'm buying, what I'm selling, the trades that I'm making. And it also goes for guys like Connor Kinney as well. He's another one of the core creators there. And you can see some of his trades are going nuts. One thing I wanted to show you guys, look at this guy, bro. $4,000 gain, $8,000 gain, $11,000 gain, $21,000 gain. Connor is just a different breed of animal. So you can see what I'm doing, what he's doing, what our pro traders are doing, and what our community is doing. Look at the gains that the community themselves are making on even a day like today. 80%, 20%, 430% gain right there, 266%. Guys, this is all just today. So if you want access to the school to not only start learning how to trade and how to invest, but also see people like us doing our thing in live action, the link for that is down below for you. But overall, that's where we are today. And yeah, I think that's it for the most part. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else to get you started for the week we should go over. We can also kind of look at the liquidation maps. I think this is pretty interesting. The fact that we are now seeing the 30-day Bitcoin liquidation map really starting to balance out actually does give me even more confidence to be doing these dollar cost averages right now. Because as the market is falling, although there is still a lot of liquidations to the downside, and I do think it is reasonable to assume we will continue downward for a little bit, we are seeing a lot of people getting confident that this is the end of the bull market. People are betting that we're going to go down. They're betting big. They're opening up gigantic short trades, gigantic downward trades, and they're expecting the market to really fall. And the second that people start expecting that, and you start to see this leverage entering into the market, liquidations entering into the market, it is a good sign that you could see this market pump. And it gives me even more confidence that we're going to try to use these bounce zones to really give us a move upwards, to try to really make a run towards the upside. And so because of that, the fundamentals, or the more fundamental analysis side of things, just also does kind of make me feel like, okay, I'm loving the fact that people are so confident that the bull market's over, because I think we're just heading down into bounce zones that are going to try to bounce us upwards and liquidate them. And that's good for us Bitcoin bulls, okay? And so with that in mind, that's it for the most part. I just wanted to kind of give you a general overview of what's been happening in the market, what I'm doing right now, what I'm seeing in crypto, and much more. I will also let you guys know, in addition to checking out the BTCC link, the school link, you can also go follow me over on Instagram if you want more day-to-day updates from me, some more extra information, some extra reels, some extra behind-the-scenes stuff. I post a bunch of, answering people's questions and all that good stuff. It's available down below. My Instagram handle is TylerHillYT_. Feel free to shoot me a DM over there if you need any help with anything. I do try to answer those as much as possible. So feel free to go check that out. And yeah, I think that's about it for today. So yeah, so don't forget to go check out those links down below. I hope you guys have had a good rested weekend now that the crypto market's kind of been chill a little bit. And I can't wait to see you all in the next ones. Peace out, everybody.